Welcome to Super 66 Samurai Sunday.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another installment of Samurai Sunday. I am your host, Will Martell. And if you haven't done so, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And remember to hit that notification button for all future content. Okay, let's get this started. I will be reviewing today the 1975 movie Dragon vs. Needles of Death. And as I just mentioned, this movie came out in 1975 during the post Bruce Lee We Miss You era in the martial arts film world. So, I'm going to roll this clip from a movie I happen to like, it's a guilty pleasure, that's called Dragon vs. Needles of Death. Here's the clip.
Hey, Ling is here.
Morning, sir. We were practicing.
Ah, good. We have a new student to train. He is called Chung Chu Chum. He is one of us now. So let him see who his new friends are. Let us see what you know, Chung. Sammy, will you do the honors?
Teacher, let me be his opponent.
Very well, go ahead.
You have just seen a clip from the 1975 Kung Fu movie Dragon vs. Needles of Death. I think personally it's a wicked title. Anyhow, the film opens with "Who are all you guys?" And why are they fighting? Oh, it's a practice session. All right, stupid me. Okay, anyhow, a mean, obviously out of shape teacher arrives and introduces a new student. This student's name is Chu-chun. He spars and gets beaten up. Okay, so afterwards, he then mopes around the river, I think, and doesn't practice yet, but when alone, he reveals that he has a special talent. And this talent, his superior skills by throwing large nails, okay, which these are supposed to be the needles of death. Okay, so after being observed, okay, talking to a girl down at the river, which happens to be the two of them get together and they make a deal to teach each other in secret each other's special art. Okay, Sammy teaching Chu-chun Kung Fu and Chun teaching Sammy how to throw his needles of death. Okay, the girl that he was seen down at the river with, Chun, she falls in love with him and they run off together. Okay, next we see the teacher just basically, loses his marbles and has a heart attack. And then we see Sammy, who's now a blacksmith, who's also run off because May was supposed to be his girl. So we fast forward to some prisoners being tortured, and Sammy finds out that he is the son of one of the biggest martial arts teachers in that town, Sammy. Okay, so Sammy actually meets the Kung Fu teacher. He finds out that the Kung Fu teacher is actually his dad before Chun assassinates him. This movie seems like 3 times they decided to change the whole story. The entire production seems, for the lack of a better word, very amateurish. The fights are basically all the same, but it's a guilty pleasure. And it seems like to be the same fight over and over and over again. Every fight on every level looks exactly like the last one. Okay, overall, all right, my opinion on this movie seems to be an obscure movie that I feel is a classic. Okay, I watched it because I am a die-hard Kung Fu fan, and I watch everything in this genre. I mean, absolutely everything. So, what do I ultimately give this movie? Okay, since it's a guilty pleasure of mine, I am going to give this movie basically 3 thumbs up. Okay, why? Because aside from the fighting, which is not basically stylized or anything like that, nobody's doing a crane or a praying mantis or a dragon sort of fighting. I mean, the fighting seems to be a lot of this hand waving and things like that. And if you really look closely at this particular film, it doesn't even look like some of the punches land, but the sound effects, basically are, sort of cool, just like in any other Kung Fu movie. But I'm not going to give away the end because this movie is available on YouTube and you can go and watch it and then comment, send the comment in a box below, comment and things like that, and we could discuss this movie. But like I said, I give it 3 thumbs up because 1, it's a guilty pleasure, and 2, I think the story, had it been ironed out a little more, would have been a great story. But I think that they rushed to get this movie out, and I'm not sure of where this movie was filmed, you know, I would probably say maybe Taiwan. Don't know for sure, but it might have been. Anyhow, I think that unlike the last movie I reviewed, which was Enter the Game of Death, which was all over the place, I couldn't even understand the story. In this particular movie, Dragon versus Needles of Death, I feel that the fight scenes were not up to the standard of what Bruce Lee left behind. He would have been very disappointed with the fight scenes, but the story was going in a great direction with Chun and Sammy, having this love triangle with May, and then it just kind of went off the rails a little bit. So I'm not going to tell you the end of the movie or anything like that, but I'll tell you that I give it three thumbs up. Like I said, one thumbs up because it was it's a guilty pleasure, and the second thumbs up would go to not production, not story, but it was a favorite movie of mine growing up. The third thumbs up would be basically this film, touches my heart a little bit because me and my buddies used to always talk about this film, and then we basically would sit up and watch this movie and just come up with our own dialogue and stuff like that. So basically this movie, for me, just get 3 thumbs up, nothing more, nothing less. I mean, the movie was everywhere. I mean, it was all, it was going in a great direction, and then it took a detour. So with Dragon versus Needles of Death, 3 thumbs up. So that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Samurai Sunday. But next week, I will be reviewing the very, very great cult classic called The 5 Deadly Venoms. Now, The 5 Deadly Venoms is by far a Class A Kung Fu movie from start to finish. This movie, for me, and it is one of my favorite Shaw Brothers movies. I mean, along with Gordon Liu, who was in a movie called The Master Killer. He was in the entire series, and he's one of my favorite Kung Fu actors, old school. Gordon Liu is just Class A. Now, this movie, The 5 Deadly Venoms, I am so excited to review this movie because it is one of the greatest cult classic Kung Fu movies of all time. I don't know a person, in this entire world that has not seen The 5 Deadly Venoms that did not like the movie and the plot line. I mean, Class A. All right, if you want to compare Kung Fu movies, if Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee was number 1, then the Shaw Brothers' 5 Deadly Venoms had to come in a close second, in terms of Kung Fu classics. All right, so as I said, this is going to wrap it up for this edition, and next week I will be reviewing The 5 Deadly Venoms. Okay, so this is Will Martell from Samurai Sunday saying so long, and remember, always keep on punching and always keep on kicking. See you soon.
Welcome.